sideline, but they did it over a period of time. Quite a few titles. They did a number of games that they kind of found were games that other people did, and so they modified the game. So a game called Flinch, which was popular, they did as Rex, and you'll see a Rex game in there. There are 2 copies in the case of conversation cards. Those are quite interesting. They are just little ways of getting things going. It's not really a game, it's just more like banter, ways of getting a little sociability going in a group of people or 2 people. And these games are interesting in that one of them has a black couple on the cover of the game, and the other has a white couple. And yet, in terms of the contents of the game, the contents are the same, and some of the questions actually have the black dialect and a few cultural references to that segment of society as either imagined by Ottman and other manufacturers, or maybe catering to it. I don't really even know. But it kind of captures that as a kind of a comic element. They made, as I say, a number of different games, their versions of different games. Ottman's name is hardly visible on the games because, as in the tradition of lithographers, it's very, very tiny there. The other game manufacturers would have their names much larger so that you could see who was selling it, and it might be a selling point. But Ottman was kind of a bit more understated in terms of that. I have a number of different games. I have a couple of games which use the Utkalt characters, which you'll see sometimes. Buster Brown and the Yellow Kid was an Utkalt character. They are not in this exhibit. And there was one very nice game that was on eBay that I had Jackie get interested in, and she tried to be the bidder for it. It was a game of Success, and a very nice cover, kind of a nice American game of success. Would have a nice theme to it, I'm sure, but she was not a success in being the high bidder, so too bad. They are not so easy to find, so anyone finds an Ottman game, let anyone know.
Buster Brown and Tog. Tell them about Buster Brown and Tog and Yellow Journalism.
Well, Utkalt's Yellow Kid character.
R.F. Utkalt is the artist of these 2 pieces here.
One of his characters that he drew was the Yellow Kid, which was adorned the front page of, was it a Hearst magazine? I don't know too much about the publicity factor, but it was something that publicized the magazine, the fact that this little yellow character, he wore a little yellow robe and spoke, he was supposed to speak in a dialect that said disam, something like that, so he spoke in a funny manner and was a really oddball character, but he was more or less a mascot of that paper. And I think that the blurb says which paper it is on one of these things. You did a little research on it too. So Yellow Journalism, which has a kind of a bad name in journalism, this is heavy-hitting journalism, gets its name from the Yellow Kid character because it was one of the first color elements on a paper in those days. I think the Yellow Journalism was especially intense in the Spanish-American War. Is that correct?
That's where it started.
I don't know. Other people know about this more than I do. Anyway, take a look at those games there too, and just up in some corner they were making the games, and they had some people